Message and meditate. You know, I did this the last time I was up at Wellspring. I just forgot the speaker. The most important part. Let's just skip right over that. Jennifer is going to give us our spiritually guided message, because when she speaks, you know it's flowing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Pam. Happy Sunday, happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
I had some notes. Please get me started. To start with, actually, because again, I'm getting you guys to do some of my work. Nancy and Patricia are going to hand out journals and pens. Pencil pens. Actually, they're pens with little erasers. They're very fun. That's why I got everybody some, because I like mine. I've got a giraffe one. And then later on after service, when we're in the social hall, if you don't like the one you got and you want to exchange with somebody who's got something that you like, then have a good time. So we're talking about prosperity, and also to what was in the daily word about guidance. We need to be more aware. And it's difficult. Speaking for myself, it's difficult to be in awareness a lot of the time because there is so much going on. And I spend a lot of time on my phone, and if I'm looking at my phone, I'm not tuned in really to divine guidance, to awareness. My human sense is occupied by human things of the world. However, God is working all the time. So even if it seems like, I think our heads are kind of buried in the real world, God is good all the time, and that spirit, that divinity is working in those things too. Finding things that bring joy to us in our life experience, to break up sometimes when we're under that sense of stress. The other day, a lot of times, you do these things online and like, what's your level of stress and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't have any stress. But I was driving into town yesterday and I felt like, I was just a little on the tense side. And it's like, I'm going to the market. Why am I tense about going to the farmer's market? So breathe in and relax. That's awareness. And awareness is important with our prosperity because we need to recognize when it's showing up, because otherwise we just feel like we're doing all this work and it's not showing up in our lives. When really it is showing up in our lives, we're just not paying attention. So that's why I got everyone a journal and a fun pen. Does everybody like their fun pens? Aren't they cute? And they do have an eraser. And apparently, you can write secret messages. I read about this. So you write something, and then you erase it, and you give it to a friend, and if they take that piece of paper and put it in the freezer, and then pull it back out, the ink comes back up. So you can write secret messages, secret notes. All right? So if somebody gives you a note with nothing on it, everybody's going to start sticking pieces of paper in the refrigerator, and their spouses and family members are going to go, I think it's important, and I admit, I still have an adversity to writing things down only because I believe my handwriting is terrible. Okay? Although I do really, really believe how important it is to write things down so we remember them. So at least if we don't remember it, later on we can go back to it and see what happened. Journaling is really important. So the little exercise we have here, I ask you for the rest of the month to write down your prosperity that is showing up in your life in this journal. Now, next Sunday, Reverend Candy from Unity is coming here to speak as a guest speaker, and I'm going to be in El Paso watching Pam. And so the following Sunday, I'll be here, and I ask you all to bring your journals back, and I will bring mine. And if nobody else can read it, it doesn't make any difference, right? And let's have a little discussion. Has that shifted your prosperity consciousness at all? Has that changed your awareness about prosperity showing up in your life? And what does that mean? What is an example of prosperity showing up in your life? Anybody? Music? Pam?
Coming in here and getting hugs from 3 people that just were so wonderful.
Anything else? What's an example of prosperity showing up in your life? A phone call from yep. Okay. Exactly. Someone inviting you out to lunch. You get some kind of random check in the mail from, you didn't know you had that checking account 5 years ago, and so here's your $45 back. Or a deposit that you put down on a utility, right? Years ago. And so they send you back that. These are things that we need to be aware of, because we're talking about being in the cycle of giving and receiving. And we talked about tithing, and we talked about sharing our abundance last week, and knowing that it comes back to us tenfold and more. But if we're not paying attention to how it's coming back, because it's not necessarily I gave $10 and I get $40 back. No. I donated $10 and I got a raise at work. Right? Or somebody offered to pay for my vet bill. That is probably the thing in my life that my husband did for me when we were dating. We were dating for about 4 months. One of my dogs had gotten parvo, and so they were at the vet. So that was an expensive bill even then, right? And he went in one day and he made a big payment on my vet bill. Yeah, that's love, right? Yeah, because we were talking today, what does prosperity mean to us, right? It's different things for different people. For me, it meant that I would never have to worry about taking care of my pets. I wouldn't have to figure out, they need surgery or they need some kind of treatment, and how am I going to pay for it? For my husband, it was being able to go to the grocery store and buy whatever he wanted. Not have to go, I can't get this today because I don't have enough money, so I'm going to have to skip it or buy the cheaper brand that I don't really like, or have to forego ice cream, or, I can only get half a dozen eggs instead of a dozen eggs. He doesn't need to do that now, and I'm grateful. He's such a blessing. He does all the grocery shopping. I don't mind doing grocery shopping, but those are the things that's awareness. That's important, because it's kind of like you're having your you reach out to people with a kindness, and they don't pay attention. the divine in each and every one of us, that God Father in each and every one of us in the universe, His power in the universe is throwing out blessings and blessings and blessings to us. And we're not paying attention. And instead, we ask for more when we're not giving thanks for what we're getting. It is so important. It's such an important part. And so I really ask you, and I will do this. I tell you what, I don't know how many planners and journals and things that I have bought in the past, and I have used like 3 pages worth, and then, so I will do my work. I will do my work. And then the last Sunday of the month, I ask you to bring your journals. No judgment if there's blank pages. I encourage you to put something in there. Even if it's like a name, you know, like Shirley. Well, that tells you that Shirley invited you to lunch, or Shirley brought you over some cake, or Shirley offered to cut your grass. Or Bob came by and said, "Oh my goodness, is that leaking? Let me fix that for you." No problem whatsoever. I can push that little button and turn things back on and reset them. We are surrounded. And the more we're aware of it, the more power we have to use that energy to create more prosperity and abundance and goodness in our lives. The reading Dave gave today is part of that. Guidance and awareness, they work together. Because when we're aware of the blessings, it's circular, right? Well, if you're aware of something, this energy providing you with these blessings, then you tune in more to that and find and listen to the guidance that's also available to you. The guidance. So then we're not so stressed out. We're not so tense. And being more aware of how our body, which is all God energy, is also talking with us. When I start talking about some of this stuff, my third eye area starts going, woo! I hadn't noticed that before until about 1.5 years or 2 ago. And now I pay attention to that because that helps me say that I'm on the right track. I'm picking up what's being sent out to me. And we all have that in our ability. And it comes to us through different ways and different means. Through me, it's kind of like when I'm talking up here, or when I'm having a counseling session with someone. For Doug and the band, it's their music. For people, it's when they sing. For Pam, it's probably some cooking, and it's also her artistry. Some of these people have all these things. You know, they sing and they create art and they can write and, you know. And what a blessing. What a blessing that is. And one of the things I will say that I see as abundance for Pam, if you don't mind me using you as an example, is she had an experience earlier last year, and she got inspired, and she has taken that inspiration on the road. We miss her here at Unity, but she has been speaking at Wellspring and CSL and Unity of El Paso. She's working on her own book. She is embracing that divine energy. She became aware of what she had to, what was part of her path, and stepped into it with everything she has. And that's for the good of all concerned. All of us, that's in all of us, through our music, through the talks, through classes, through prayer work, through the book studies, the things we do in our community for volunteering, working with dogs. I used to be in dog rescue, and I just loved it. It can be heartbreaking, but I love it. I love it. So I encourage you. Start with, if you're new to journaling, start with the prosperity journal, the abundance journal. And then if that works for you, get yourself a journal and start writing down what you are guided to write down, so that you can be aware of your feelings, be aware of what your body's feeling, be aware of what's going on around you and how that's affecting you and where you find guidance. I think I told you before, one of the practitioners from Mastery and Life Center, Geneva College, Geneva had a prayer book. Religious science, it's called treatment. Prayer treatment. And when Geneva did her treatments, she wrote them down. And then later on, she'd go back and see when they showed up as manifesting in her life. And she had books and books and books. We try to remember, but I think writing it down gives it more of an imprint in our mind and in our soul of these things that are showing up in our lives that are from the divine, from God, and our importance of making those things show up. So use your fun pens and your journals, all right? And do the work. Do the work, and I will do the work. Promise. I don't think I was a Girl Scout. It's 3's Girl Scouts. I was a brownie. I remember being a brownie, but I don't think I was a Girl Scout. All right, let's get ready for our meditation. As we settle into our chairs, our feet on the floor, back against the chair, we are supported. Breathing in, breathing out, grateful for breath. That is part of our abundance, our breath. Starting at the top of our head, the crown chakra, that divine energy flowing down over our head, our shoulders, chest and back. Hips, the abdomen, down the legs, to our feet, and into Mother Earth. Connected. Envision yourself standing there like a tube of light from Mother Earth all the way up to the heavens. That energy in every cell and every atom, that divine energy. bring to your mind one instance of prosperity that came into your awareness this past week. As you think about that event, sense the love and the light surrounding that. What was given and what was received. How did you feel? What little difference was made because of that? Was the rest of your week better? Did you feel more at ease? And how will you, or how have you given back? Imagine that as a little pebble that creates ripples. That prosperity event that entered your awareness, your life experience, and the ripples that it created. And I invite you to hold on to the love of that situation and the light from that event and carry it with you. Taking a breath in and exhale. I am free. I am unlimited. Amen.
You may have heard Kamatara speak before. She's an inspired speaker, and she's also a wonderful musician. She's going to do special music for us today.
Thanks, Doug, and everyone, and thank you for the wonderful message and meditation. That was just fantastic. And at a time when it may feel really difficult to recognize the Christ light in others, this song is a big reminder. It's called Namaste. Namaste. The divine in me blesses and honors the divine in you. Namaste, namaste, namaste. The divine in me blesses and honors the divine in you. The beauty of God stands before me, expressing uniquely as you. The spirit of goodness within you shines forth in all that you do. Namaste, namaste, namaste. The divine in me blesses and honors the divine in you. Namaste, namaste, namaste. The divine in me blesses and honors the divine in you. The Christ light within you is brilliant, the infinite in the here and now. The one heart, one mind is the power that gives divine life to all. Namaste, namaste, namaste. The divine in me blesses and honors the divine in you. Namaste, namaste, namaste. The divine in me blesses and honors the divine in you. The divine in me blesses and honors the divine.